up, guys? It is your girl Lauren here, and welcome back to another video. Chances are, if you're watching this, then A, you are interested in making your own IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and B, you're probably wondering if the investment is truly worth it. I am going to answer both of those questions today by giving you guys a 3-month plant update since I made this bad boy back in the beginning of December. I'll give you guys a tour, kind of explain the reasoning why I put certain plants in here, and then at the end I will answer the question that you guys are wondering. But before we get into the video, I want to say that if you like this, please subscribe, or if you're interested in seeing all things planty related content, please subscribe as well. I do have a goal in mind to see if I can hit 1,000 subscribers by my 1-year YouTube anniversary, and I think I'm gonna make it. We'll see. My 1-year YouTube anniversary is on May 18th, so again, no pressure, but if you guys do like the content that I make, subscribing would mean the world to me. But enough self-promo, let's get into the video. Now, we are going to get into the tour in a second, but I remember when I first started seeing IKEA greenhouse cabinets pop up everywhere, seeing the Mills, the Fabricors, the Detolfs everywhere. I was really wondering if it was worth it, honestly. I knew that obviously they served a functional purpose, but when you see so many aesthetic looking plant cabinets, I was like, is this just part of the hype? That was just my naive opinion or initial thoughts. Like many people, it came to the point where I had several plants that weren't doing well. They were in my bedroom. I do have a Lavoie humidifier, and sometimes I do put glass jars filled with water to create more humidity. But a lot of my plants specifically, and you will find them in here, my Antheriums, my Surcessusmirabilis, and my Philodendron Varicosum, were just looking very sad, and they were just tanking. They were tanking, to be honest, and I knew I needed a solution fast. And that was the inspiration and my story of why I created this. Again, if you are interested in seeing the 2 videos I made on me building this and the initial cabinet reveal, you can see that up here. But I'm so excited to show you guys how my plants are doing. Now, let's get going to the tour in 3, 2, 1. This is what my cabinet looks like now, 3 months later, guys. And for scale, I'll take you guys back a bit. So this is my Detolf cabinet. You see some of my Aaron Aspley artwork, and then you guys see me shoot in this area over here sometimes. This is my crazy plant corner that I have, and then the other main section is my bedroom, but I will bring you guys closer. So the first thing I want to say in general that's changed a lot is the bottom half. So the top half hasn't changed. If you recall from the video when I was building my greenhouse cabinet and the reveal, that I did have one of the glass shelves here. So there was one big top section and then 2 smaller ones, but I had a lot of plants like my Philodendron Varicosum that I will get into that were getting really tall, and I actually had to make this 2 equal sections, and then I got some grid baskets right here. Disclaimer, of course, a couple of these plants aren't perfect, but they are rehabbing nicely. I have to say, in the 3 months that I've had my greenhouse cabinet, that I have not had any molding issues that has to do with these really great fans. I keep them on the low setting, to be honest. It has low, medium, and high, and then every single day I do open the cabinet door so it gets more air circulation. So I know a couple of people in my original video were asking about how air circulation has been, how humidity has been, if using the glass shelves has hindered the plant health in any way. And honestly, no guys, it's been really great. And I do have my meter here and it is 89% humidity. That is a little high. I think the reason for that is because I just watered some of these plants yesterday, so it has a really good bioclimate of humidity going on. So let me just put my reader up here and let's get going. So this is a baby philodendron white knight that I got from a really great seller named Nee. I'm getting my second plant from her. And what's really exciting is that you see a growth point coming out right there. So I got this at a steal deal. Now I do have my Philodendron Royal White Trio already. I have my White Knight you see here. You will see my White Wizard down below that is rehabbing nicely, and then my White Princess is in my bedroom and that has been going really well. Next up is my Philodendron Strawberry Shake. Let me see if I can just pull this out. Now this has been doing really well as well. This was an original leaf, so beautiful, like that pink, oh my god. And then there are two different plants in here. So this pink leaf, this regular green one, and this really wonky looking leaf is one plant. Yeah, one plant. And then since in my care, it has grown this kind of half sectioned variegated leaf, and then this new one is coming out. It looks like it's gonna be all green or kind of like a yellow green. And the thing that's really cool about strawberry shakes is that like the outline of the leaf is pink. You can even see here that the outline is pink. Sorry guys, if you're new here, my hands perpetually shake. That's just a thing for me. And let me see if I can just turn this over a bit because there is another plant in here. This is an original leaf, and then the second leaf, Focus, that grew in my care and that turned out really nice with the yellow variegation. And then I have a baby one right there. I really want to get a pink leaf, and I don't know if there's anything that plant owners can do to get more of a pink leaf, or it's just really up to the genetics of the plant. But nonetheless, it's thriving. My shake is doing really well, and it's just been chilling up here. I've been putting it closer to the light so I can get some really nice variegation. Now, let's talk about this plant, my Surcessusmirabilis. Now, I have been on a journey with this plant. As I mentioned in the intro, this is one of the plants that I specifically wanted to put into the greenhouse, and the greenhouse inspiration came from one of these plants, if this makes sense. Now, I got this in July, I believe, and then the second leaf, which looks really sad, it's barely nothing. This took forever to grow, like months to grow, and when it grew, it was kind of this weird triangle heart-shaped, and Surcessus leaves are really known for this really whimsical, kind of curly leaf with these like beautiful lobes and huge sinus. And it was kind of my personal experiment to see if the increased humidity and better growing conditions would make the leaf A grow faster, and if the leaf shape would grow back. And this is the leaf that grew in the cabinet, and as you can tell, it's just absolutely beautiful, so ornate, and no brown tips. So I am super stoked for that, and it has definitely just thrived in the greenhouse. Now let me move this and we'll go on to discuss the other plants in the back. Now let's talk about antheriums, and I'm not even going to go into my normal spiel that I always do. Antheriums were a big reason why I decided to make this cabinet. I just saw that the color of the leaves just looked really sad. They were super flimsy, not hardy at all, and specifically, y'all know with my crystallinum, every single time a new leaf develops and grows, the previous one, the older one, dies. So I will get to this crystallinum. You can tell something suspicious is already happening right here, and I'm not that happy, but I think I have a plan. I know what I'm going to do. But let's talk about my Clarinervium. So this has done really well in the greenhouse. So far, between my crystallinum, my queen, and my Clarinervium has done the best. I will just move the plant around so you can see it. These are original 2 leaves, and then in the greenhouse, this grew, and it's beautiful. It's bigger and rounder than the older leaves that came from the original seller. The sinus is just beautiful. I love these little fat hearts. And it's been doing really, really well. That's all I have to say. Now, my crystallinum. Guys, this has been really rough for me. It was a big experiment for me to see that once this plant grew a new leaf, if the current one would start yellowing and start dying. And as you can see, a new growth point. Ooh, sorry, it's focusing. It's focusing. Refocus. There we go. As you can see, a new growth point is coming, which is great. The plant is growing, but of course, this is starting to yellow, and I am not very happy about it. What you will see when I go to my Rehabbing Queen Antherium, that I'm doing an experiment, and I changed the substrate of that. You'll see it over there. That's my Rehabbing Queen, who, disclaimer, doesn't look that hot. I changed her to sphagnum moss and perlite, and that has actually been doing really well, even though it still looks kind of sad, but it's rehabbing, and that's the point. It's getting healthier. I just really don't think that a chunky aroid mix in my environment and growing conditions are the right substrate for my antheriums. This is in a chunky aroid mix. Don't let this fool you. I just top layered it with sphagnum moss because I started to see this yellow come like 5 days ago, and I was getting paranoid. And so after this video, I think I'm going to switch both of these substrates to perlite and moss. But overall, the higher humidity has done worlds for these 2 plants in this variety, and they are healthier. They are growing at a faster rate. So that's that. And then let me talk to you guys about my Monstera standardliana aurea. Like, this plant has just been thriving. This is a rough leaf. I'll just show you because I'm not perfect, I told you guys. This has been doing kind of rough, but this is a leaf that I already had that was kind of, what's the word? That was already not doing so well anyway, so it's kind of been like that. But this leaf right here, this leaf, gorgeous variegation, but this one, guys, almost a half moon, basically a half moon, have been doing so well in here. Like, this plant just loves life. I really want to get into more monsteras that aren't just a Thai, an albo, a Siltepecana, a standardliana. Like, I really want to get more like unique or more commercially uncommon monsteras than those. But case in point, this has just been doing extremely well. I'm in love with my aurea, and that is the first part of the cabinet and the plant updates that I have. Now let's go to the bottom half. The bottom half of the greenhouse has been more of a rehab section, so it may not seem as sexy as the top half, but some things are going really well and are in the upswing. So I have some Hoyas here. I have my Hoya Matilde. Right here, I have my Hoya Polynura that I just love, and this is my Hoya Meredithii. And so the main reason why I put these 3 Hoyas here is because I wanted to see how this particular genus did in a higher humidity enclosed environment. And so far, it's been kind of all over the board. I would generally say that Hoyas have done well. So let's talk about this Meredithii. Now, this whole vine, I should say, grew entirely in the greenhouse, which is really cool. And this leaf grew also in this cabinet. Now, before the severe winter storm Uri that hit Texas, there were so many baby leaves, and it was so sad, guys. There were so many baby leaves that were growing at these nodes, but they just kind of disintegrated due to the severe cold conditions that happened in my state. But this Hoya in particular was super thriving. Again, this vine was not here when it started. It has these little air roots, and it's been doing really well in particular. Now, my Hoya polyneura has been doing really well too. Nothing as major like my Meredithii, but it's been growing super well. It's just been a really chill plant. I love this fishtail Hoya. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a stan for it, and it's been doing well. So nothing in particular that I have to say that's amazing, but it hasn't been bad. And then my Mathilde. It hasn't done anything, to be honest, guys. It hasn't done anything, so I don't know what that means in particular to this variety. I will probably just take it out of the greenhouse, maybe, because it hasn't done anything. But so far, I've just kept it up here. So that's kind of my 3 Hoyas. They're all like either doing nothing or doing extremely well. So I guess it depends on the variety. Now let's talk about all of these kind of mixed up plants right here. So first off is my Ludicea discolor. I just kind of threw this plant in here as a tester because I know it likes a lot of humidity. It has grown kind of leggy and wonky, as you can see, because I had it like up there where my pink princess and white knight were. And I know they don't need that much light, so that's probably why I was getting really leggy. I'm not sure, so I brought it down here. I know a lot of my friends have a Ludicea, and this particular jewel orchid is super easy for them. This one has just been more of a slow grower, but it has looked a lot better since being in this greenhouse. Look at these beautiful metallic foliage and lines, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna put that here. These are just nothing special. These are just reverted Florida Beauty cuttings that I took. And I remember when I did my plant trade with Richie from the Loves Plants, I gave him unrooted cuttings of a Philodendron Florida Beauty. I tried rooting them. It was really hard, but Richie was able to root them so well, and the reason for that is because he put it in a really high humidity environment. And as you can see, there are some baby roots right there that are growing. If you heard that pop, that was my wrist. I'm getting old. But yeah, if you have struggling cuttings that aren't doing well, put it in a higher humidity environment. If you do have a greenhouse, that's great. If not, just try to make the humidity higher so they will grow better. Let's talk about some rehabbing plants right now, and this is my Philodendron White Wizard. Now, I used to have a super big and thriving wizard, but I overwatered it and it got root rot. But it has bounced back, and honestly, that's how you learn as a plant parent. I don't mind it, and it's obviously a learning lesson that we all grow from. It was actually rooting over there, and you can see some plants, if you look closely, that are also rooting in water. And what I started to see that the top half of the cutting was getting roots, and it was actually growing pups, as you can see, but the bottom half of the cutting wasn't. And I knew it was in a place where I had to start putting it in soil, but I was confused, obviously, on how to repot it. And then someone said to repot it horizontally. That's why you see these like random cuts, and it's been doing really well. This is a new leaf that grew in this greenhouse cabinet. This baby just unfurled, and look how adorable that is. Those 3 colors, come on. This green to light green and white, beautiful. I have an all white leaf, and you can see those little pups right there. So It's doing well, honestly. The leaves feel great, and I have to say in general, if you have plants where the hardiness of their leaf is struggling and it looks kind of sad, the greenhouse is totally worth it. Now let's talk about this really sad queen. My queen Antherium. Now, this is a plant that has been struggling ever since I moved it to a chunky aroid mix. And guys, it was chunky, but it has just been so sad. I've already come to terms that these two leaves are going to go. Besides the fact that the plant has been struggling, it's no surprise that I haven't had any new leaves grow at all. And I've had this plant for several months now. Recently, and when I say recently, it was probably 2 weeks ago, I just decided to put it into perlite and moss. I just watered it yesterday, that's why it looks really damp. And literally guys, I kid you not, like 3 or 4 days after I put it in this substrate, it has a new growth point. Focus. Y'all can see that if it's low blurry. Yeah, there we go. It has a new growth point. So I'm like, oh my God, this is a sign that, at least for me, sphagnum moss and perlite is the substrate that works for me. I know a lot of people have success with a chunky aroid mix. That is not my case. That's why I'm going to transfer my other aroids to the same mix. And then lastly, let's talk about this plant, which is not a rehab but desperately needs a moss pole, is my Philodendron Varicosum. Now, the reason why I wanted to put this plant particularly in the greenhouse cabinet is because the leaves in general are a lot thinner. They feel more paper thin, and this is the first leaf that grew in my care but in my bedroom, and it just kind of was starting to crumble due to humidity cracks. And if you just take this out of consideration, it does look like a fine leaf, but in comparison to this, I mean, come on, it's like almost a completely different look. This is the first leaf that grew in the cabinet. It's been here for a bit. You can see the contrast between the dark foliage color in the background against these striking veins. And of course, the party is in the back. I know I shouldn't be doing that. Let me just kind of turn this plant over as best I can. But yeah, you can see that beautiful backing of its leaves. Now, I can wholeheartedly say, sorry guys, I'm struggling, that this plant has done so much better in the greenhouse. This is the newest bebe leaf. Still has that same beautiful look and of course the same beautiful red backing. This one is a little bit smaller, but I think it just needs a moss pole, to be honest, and it has a new growth point. Overall, super happy with how this plant is doing, and I say that it has 100% thrived in this cabinet. But that is it for the video, guys. I am sitting on the floor in my apartment, but that's it for the tour. Now, let's end this video with my overall closing thoughts. That was the tour, guys. I hope you like it. I have about maybe, I don't know, 15, I'm just gonna say 15 plants in there right now. I do have to say that creating an IKEA greenhouse cabinet is totally worth it. It does worlds for your plants and rehabbing them into better health. They have just made my plants hardier, look better. The roots have gotten healthier, and with a lot of the plants, the rate in which they grow has exponentially increased. So if you are wondering if creating this cabinet and making the investment is worth it, I absolutely say yes. At this point of time, I don't need any more greenhouse cabinets, but I'm pretty sure in about 4 months, I am going to have to make a new one because your girl is getting into more anthuriums. and just more aeroids in general that are humidity loving. And I've pretty much have set my max as far as the plants that I'm comfortable putting into this cabinet. So whenever that video happens, I will of course let you guys know and create that video. I do want a Milsbo, but a Milsbo has been out of stock for a very long time, at least in Houston. But that is it. To answer your question, it's worth it. Get it if you are thinking about it. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love y'all so much.